Hey folks, welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I want to talk about the Prophetic Wealth Transfer dealing with Bitcoin and the poll that I did on the buy limit orders. And I did a poll because I wanted to see where people see where their heads are at, see how far along they've gotten, and just to kind of do a poll on how many exchanges they actually have low Bitcoin buy limit orders on. So I'm going to go over that. But first, just to acknowledge this Prophetic Wealth Transfer dealing with Bitcoin and where it came from. First, Jesus is Lord, that is his YouTube channel. Christopher Harris, you can go and click on any of his videos, you can get his Telegram and all that. But originally he had a prophetic dream dealing with Bitcoin crashing to zero and also placing Bitcoin buy limit orders for when it does crash to zero, because eventually it will recover, and eventually it's going to recover in a mighty way. Right, so we are looking at, after the recovery, we're looking at to go back up to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 per Bitcoin at some point after it drops to zero. And one of the reasons why we place our Bitcoin buy limit orders, because during this time period, not everybody's going to be able to log in and be able to put in buy limit orders in at that time, because whatever causes Bitcoin to crash down to zero, it's going to have a major effect on the crypto markets. And there's going to be a lot of people trying to log in. There's going to be a lot of people trying to sell their assets because for whatever reason Bitcoin drops to zero, and it's going to bring a lot of the market down with it for a period of time. We don't know how long Bitcoin is going to stay down low. We know that that there was a previous flash crash that did happen and back in 2011. Right, and I did a video on that, and you can look that up. But it was something that did happen quite quickly when it started. So Christopher Harris, Jesus is Lord, was the first person that I came across that was talking about this prophetic wealth transfer dealing with Bitcoin, to place your low buy limit orders on these different platforms, anywhere from a penny to $1 or however high. And then when this event happens, you'll be able to catch Bitcoin, and there are other instructions with that as far as either holding or selling at a certain point and investing it into other coins. But simply put, this is a wealth transfer of Bitcoin. And I did do a Bitcoin phishing buy limit order document. And if you decide this is something that you want to do, it's down below in the description. Now, keep in mind, folks, that to read everything and just don't start placing Bitcoin buy limit orders on there, because all this really depends on your country and where you live. If you live in Canada, you're really restricted. So make sure you read the whole thing, especially if you're from New York or you live in New York. I don't think you probably are best using an alternative address outside of the city of New York. And don't use New York address in any way, shape, or form if you are from New York and you're trying to sign up for crypto or to place your Bitcoin buy limit orders on. So on this, we have identified 10 different platforms. Bittrex and Kucoin, those were the first two that he talked about. Then we also have Coinbase and Coinbase Pro, which Maria Conwell had prophesied about setting them at 10 cents. And then we also have LBank, Kraken, Gemini, FTX, which you can only place on the cheapest. You can place orders on FTX as $1. Then we have Gate.io, but the United States and Canada are restricted from Gate.io, and a number of other Middle Eastern and South American and Asian countries. Then we also have Phemex, but you can only place orders at $10 per Bitcoin, so I don't have any on that platform. Hubai Global and MEXC are two other platforms that I have been told that you can place low Bitcoin buy limit orders on. All right, so this link is down below in the description, right? And this will help you. And there's also in this is the video tutorials on how to place orders, how to place buy limit orders on most of the platforms that we have. Well, once you start getting through some of the first platforms, all the other platforms are easy now. So people are going to ask, well, how much should I do per platform? Well, if you can only do 3 platforms because of where you live, then you might want to only spend like $50 on each platform. And depending on how many stable coins you can use, like USDT, USDC, you have USD, and to place those different orders. Like Gemini doesn't use USDT or USDC when placing orders for Bitcoin, so it's USD only. So I don't have as many orders on Gemini, just for the simple fact they only have that I can only use USD. Okay, so here's the poll. The poll on the low Bitcoin limit orders. This poll is about if you have, or if so, how many exchanges you have low Bitcoin buy limit orders on. So far, we know there are 10 plus worldwide exchanges that do allow low BTC orders, but not everyone is allowed to use some of those exchanges due to restrictions or access to every exchange. So those 10 that I listed, look folks, in some other countries, there are platforms like, especially in Asia or Africa, that I've never even heard of before. But some of those exchanges are designed specifically for a particular country so their residents can have Bitcoin. They may have restricted all these other platforms, and maybe they only allow certain platforms. Canada is also one of those countries that have restricted a lot of the international exchanges, and they have just restrictions in general where you might not be able to have access to every single coin that's out there. And so if you live in Canada, you may not have as many low Bitcoin buy limit orders set up on exchanges, just for the simple fact of you having access to those exchanges. All right, so here, this is out of 140 people. So out of 140 people that have voted, that's about 6 people that don't have any setup. And that could be for a number of reasons. Some people say they're waiting because they want to put it into other investments and maybe try to make some money off of that and then put it into Bitcoin buy limit orders. There are some people that don't want to go through the whole process. They don't care. They already have all these other prophetic investments. And then there are some people that are restricted and they can't access any platforms that allow you to put in buy limit orders on for Bitcoin between 1 cent and say like $1. Most platforms that I mentioned, you can place most of those. You can place a Bitcoin buy limit order for a penny, and some of them, the lowest you can do is 10 cents. Okay, and then see here, one exchange, that's 19%. And this 2 to 3 exchanges was 43%. And that's about where I thought where most people were going to go, right? As far as how many exchanges, because you had the Kucoin and the Bittrex prophetic words, specifically those exchanges. And then you also had the Maria Conwell one dealing with Bitcoin at 10 cents. So that would make sense that there would be, most people would be on 2 to 3 exchanges, right? Then you have 24% of people, which was 4 to 5 exchanges. And then 6 to 7 exchanges, about 6% of people have that many exchanges, and then 8 plus was 4%. So out of the 140, there was about 6 people, including myself, that have 8 plus exchanges. I think mine is right at 8 exchanges. And that's the thing, in Canada, it's kind of different. You have different provinces, so it might be very well that one province is more friendlier to crypto than others. I know Kucoin had just got banned in one of the other provinces. So, when it comes to this thing, I believe that if you have at least Kucoin, Bittrex, Coinbase, if you have those 3, you'll be fine. And some of this is going to have to do with, God blessing people within this wealth transfer. If God knows you only have access to one exchange and your heart is in the right place, I believe you'll get just as many Bitcoin as if you were on 5 or 6 different exchanges. Now, I don't know when this is going to happen, folks. We did think that here, especially over the last 3 or 4 months, that with all the dangers that have happened within the crypto community, and Bitcoin dropping down to 17,500, people were ready to see this happen. And there's a lot of major different events that I thought that were going to happen that did not happen, that I thought that would bring Bitcoin down to 0. And so that just remains to be seen as far as how and when this happens. So far we have Mt. Gox. That issue is still going on, and they're talking about at the end of August, and then you also have September. The Bitcoin miner capitulation, that's still dragging on. And we may be safe from, as far as the Bitcoin miner capitulation, I think we might be safe from that. But people are still talking about that a lot of the miners have not sold off yet when they should be here at soon. And you have the cryptocurrency markets that are actually tied to the stock markets. So you have that issue too as well. And we already know that the stock market is in a lot of trouble, and there's a lot of underlying issues. But for now, it seems to be holding up for the moment. So this is the poll, folks. This is what most people have: 2 to 3 exchanges, and then the next in line after that is 4 to 5 exchanges. And then it kind of drops down after that, 19% on one exchange, right? And then 6% on 6 to 7 exchanges, and then 4% on people who don't have any Bitcoin buy limit orders set up now. I'm not telling you to, but it's just one of the other prophetic wealth transfers that we have, folks. There are so many different coins and different areas. Whether you're dealing with the global currency reset, whether you're dealing with certain stocks in the stock market, gold and silver and precious metals, and the rest of the cryptocurrency industry, there are many prophetic words dealing with various types of wealth transfers. And this is going to be one of them, one of the major ones, I believe, with Bitcoin, placing our low Bitcoin buy limit orders, placing them between 1 cent and $1 with different order types, and then waiting for Bitcoin to crash to zero, and then eventually recovering and getting back up to its levels of 20, 30, 40, 50,000. I don't know how long that's going to take. Just because people have seen it happen in a dream and happen fully doesn't mean it's going to be happening within a short period of time. We could actually see this month or next month, we could see a drop down to zero, and it might take 3 or 4 months to recover to a 20 to 30,000 point. So we just have to be patient in every single wealth transfer, right? And this is just one of the major ones. There's a lot of speculation. People talk about Mt. Gox, hacks, whatever, because, the crypto industry is still experiencing a lot of hacks. And we saw what happened with Luna, which originally drove Bitcoin down to 17,500. That was kind of what started Bitcoin dropping down to 17,500. So I just wanted to share this poll with everybody. I don't know when these things are going to take place. I can only speculate on what I hear in the media, what I hear from other YouTubers, or what I hear from experts in the field, and then also what we hear in the prophetic. And I try to put it all together. And even at this point right now, there is no definite time frame that we are going to see this happen, right? If you have your orders in already, this is the thing. For anybody who puts in their order today, and this is their first time putting in an order today, right? So they go to Bittrex, they sign up, and they placed $100 worth of Bitcoin buy limit orders on Bittrex. Well, if you've had your orders sitting on Bittrex for the last 8 months, your order is going to execute before anybody else that comes in after you, right? So that's going to be one of the major things that people who just come into the knowledge now and they place those orders, your orders that you've already placed are going to be filled first, right? In theory. All right, folks. So that is all that I have for today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.